Hello everyone, with Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Sunday evening, November 12, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at what the U.S. National Hurricane Center is showing on their 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. We can still see that we still have that area that has a medium chance of development, a code orange, across the central, western and southwestern Caribbean. It now has a 60% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days and still a 0% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days. According to the Hurricane Center, it states a broad area of low pressure is likely to form over the southwestern Caribbean Sea in a few days. Gradual development of this system is possible thereafter, and a tropical depression could form late this week while the system drifts northeastward across the western and central portions of the Caribbean Sea. So it's definitely going to be drifting to the northeast, maybe to the west of Jamaica, maybe across Jamaica, maybe across Hispaniola, and we can even see that on the Euro model. We're going to be taking a look at what exactly unfolds, and this is the 12Z run that came out at midday or a little after midday today, and we're looking at this portion right here, and we're going to be going out to the next 168 hours, and when we calculate that, that's the next 7 days, just like what the Hurricane Center would look at. So we're going out and we're seeing that the troughs are piling up with all of that strong easterly wind across portion of the south and western Caribbean. Lots of greens that represent moisture, lots of showers and thunderstorm activity. And this is as we head into Tuesday, Wednesday. Look at all of that deep moisture, some even spilling into sections of the Cayman Islands and Jamaica. Moving ahead, we are starting to see some contour lines surrounding that center of circulation, that L that represents a low pressure. And we're starting to see even more darker shades of greens that represent even more rainfall, not to mention some yellows in there that indicate even close to 6 or even 8 inches of rainfall, and that's just on the Euro. Look at all of that moisture right there heading into portions of Jamaica, Haiti, into Thursday, into Friday, that time period. Then it's trying to get itself together. Look at that, more contour lines. Could be a low end tropical storm or a tropical depression by that time, and we see that it tries to make itself across Jamaica on this latest run of the Euro model. In yesterday's run and in the 0Z run, we had it making more of a north or east northeast kind of jog, maybe towards Haiti. Now we're seeing it come back with the landfall making it across sections of Jamaica by late this week. And we're still not finished with the 168 hours. Now we're actually seeing it tie in to what the GFS was showing, a much faster solution, because if we remember, even this morning's run, 168 hours had the system to the south of Jamaica. Now it's starting to cave into what the GFS has been predicting all along. So now we're going to be looking at the GFS. This is the 12Z run that came out midday today, and we're going to be looking at right here at the next 168 hours. And we're seeing that we have a lot of moisture starting to develop as early as Thursday morning south of Jamaica. Lots of yellows, oranges and reds in there. Contour lines, broad area of low pressure starting to develop. Lots and lots of rainfall, flood triggering rainfall to affect Jamaica. Look at that by Friday morning, especially eastern Jamaica, sections of Haiti. And then as we head out to Saturday and Sunday, we start to see that system make its way to the north of Caribbean after it has hit portions of Hispaniola. That's just the 12-0. What does the 18-0 that just came out an hour ago show? So something similar to what the 12Z has been showing, lots of rainfall affecting portions of the Greater Antilles, more so heading into sections of Hispaniola, but we know this can change again. So we see that both 12Z runs of the Euro and the GFS are in consensus, with the low pressure making it across Jamaica. The 18Z run, the low pressure more to the east of Jamaica, something similar to what the Euro was showing yesterday, not to mention the 00 run of the Euro. We have to pay close attention to see exactly what unfolds. We have to stay updated. Either way, we're definitely going to be in for a lot of rainfall across the basin. If you missed this morning's forecast, we actually posted a video showing the amount of rainfall that's expected during the next 7 days, and we know sometimes these forecasts can change, especially the long range 7-day forecasts like what I posted. So we have to stay updated to see exactly what unfolds, because we know how these things go. They can definitely change as time goes along. Alright, so let us take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can still see that we have that stretched out cold front that stretches all the way from the northern section of the North Atlantic all the way down into portions of the southeastern US, Gulf of Mexico. We can also see some broken lines right here associated with a trough across portion of the eastern Caribbean. And when we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that cold front. It stretches all the way from the northern section of North Atlantic all the way down into portion of the southern US, the Gulf of Mexico. We can also see that fast flow of low-level trades, not to mention pushing all of those low-level clouds from east to west across the eastern to the central and western Caribbean. It's all of this that's going to be piling up across the western Caribbean, and all of this troughing activity is going to be conducive for more convective development across the region, bringing more in the way of some overcast sky showers and thunderstorms, and all of that is going to be piling up and meandering until an area of low pressure tries to get its act together and then moves towards the northeast. We can also see the clouds associated with that other trough still affecting portions of the Windward Islands. We'll be talking more about the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus your attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Sunday. It was stated that we would have received some amount of morning rainfall across eastern Jamaica from last night into Sunday morning, that is, and then sections of especially western Jamaica would have gotten rainfall on Sunday afternoon. The video that we made this morning, we actually highlighted the rainfall that eastern Jamaica was getting, and we know eastern Jamaica, we're talking about sections of Portland, Kingston, and St. Andrew and St. Thomas. Western Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, so Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And we indeed highlighted the clouds on the infrared satellite images, bringing some out of isolated thunderstorms to sections of St. Thomas, Portland, and some of this rainfall even spilled into sections of St. Anne and Trelawney as well. Then, during the afternoon hours, we saw that we had a buildup of clouds, showers, and thunderstorms across sections of some central and western parishes, more in the way of some southern parishes, just as predicted, with that upper level flow coming in from the north, bringing more of those overcast skies and thunderstorm activity to some southern parishes. So we indeed had some of that across sections of Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, and we even had confirmation from some of our followers on Twitter, Camblin Benny, stating rainy in west. Now Whip Pon JH stating yup, rain is pouring in Mandeville right now, and that was all 3 hours ago. So by around 4 p.m., 3 p.m. Let us take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down. We can see we had that easterly low level flow, then we had that buildup of clouds, bringing some cumulonimbus clouds, causing some showers and thunderstorms in sections of some central western parishes. Not much across eastern Jamaica during the afternoon at all. And if we take a look at the latest infrared satellite images, we can see where all of that thunderstorm activity has died down by recording our So most of those high level clouds are pushing their way off to the south as it starts to dwindle, and we saw that we indeed had a lot of thunderstorm activity. We saw those sparkling white dots, and we know that's indicative of some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. So we definitely had that across sections of Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and especially Westmoreland right there. And if we take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, we can see the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours. Definitely sections of eastern Jamaica from last night into early Sunday morning, as well as sections of some northern coastal areas, not to mention sections of some central and western parishes, just like what we just saw on the satellite images. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by 3 a.m. on Monday morning, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for 18D on Monday, when we calculate that, that's 1 p.m. on Monday, we can see Jamaica embedded in some orange colors. And when we take a look at the key on the right, those orange colors are representative of some 3 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of November across Jamaica is about 88 degrees Fahrenheit. And when we take a look at the thermometer, 88 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 30 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 30 to 33 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Monday. As it relates to the dry air map, we can see the dry air is represented by the key at the bottom. Yellows, oranges, reds, and whites. Within those reds, the more colorful we get, the more intense the dry air is. And we see that majority of the dry air is right there across the northern sections of the basin, the southwestern Atlantic, section of the Gulf of Mexico, northeastern Caribbean, especially off the west coast of Africa. We don't see much dry air across Jamaica or the majority of the Greater Antilles at all, as we see more in the way of some blues across our area. As it relates to the Saharan dust forecast, we can see that 2 p.m. on Monday has majority of the Saharan dust as represented by the browns across sections of Africa, as well as the central to eastern portion of the main development region. As it relates to the wave forecast, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS still showing much of the same, with the north and west portions of the island getting in on 1 to 1.5 meter wave heights, while it's the south coast and the eastern portion of the island that are getting the highest wave heights, as represented by those purples and pinks, getting up to 2 meter wave heights, maybe even 3 or 4. And we know that that's because the winds are going to be strongest on those sides, wherever we have those yellows that represent 25 knot winds or more, so 20 to 30 knots on the south and eastern portion of the island, and averaging, let's say, 10 to at least 20 knots at most on the north and the western portion of the island. And we see that the wind direction is coming in from the east going to the west, and then as usual we're going to be having all of that rainfall piling up across sections of some western parishes in Jamaica. And with the upper level winds coming in from the northwest, whatever develops should be blown off towards the southeast, bringing more new overcast skies and showers to sections of some southern parishes. And if we take a look at the sea surface temperature anomaly map, we can see all of that very warm water across the eastern Pacific associated with that El Nino. We still have that El Nino in play, but we still have a lot of warm sea surface temperatures across the Atlantic and the Caribbean. So we have to be vigilant, especially considering the fact that even although we have an El Nino, the Atlantic is still a bit robust in what it's capable of. So we have to be on our guard, especially considering that we're still in hurricane season, not to mention the fact that the ocean heat content is so ridiculously warm. This map is showing all the warm water the more deeper we go in the water, and we see that the more deeper we go around the Greater Antilles, we have more warm water to store up, and this is definitely some fuel for these storm systems. Alright, so let us take a look at the rainfall forecast for the next 24 hours across the Jamaica area. We are starting to see some amount of isolated showers across sections of some eastern parishes in the morning. This is about 8 a.m., 9 a.m., much of the same. Then during the afternoon hours, we start to see something similar to what we had today. Some rainfall across sections of some western parishes. Even although the euro might be showing more blues that represent rainfall across eastern and central Jamaica, we do see the consensus with what the GFS was showing. So definitely western parishes during the afternoon and sections of eastern Jamaica during the morning. And the accumulated precipitation forecast confirms this. Definitely some amount of rainfall across eastern Jamaica, and that's for the morning hours. Maybe up to 0.19 of an inch, that's what the GFS is showing. Up to 0.61 of an inch is what the euro is showing. While western parishes are going to be getting their fair share during the afternoon, the euro showing 0.33 of an inch of rainfall, the GFS showing up to 0.3 for the same. And we're indeed grateful that we're going to be getting in on some amount of rainfall for tomorrow. We're in the month of November. We're starting to wrap up the rainy season. We'll take all the rainfall that we can get before we head into the very dry period from December to April. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we can see a lot of clouds associated with that cold front across the southeastern US and the Gulf of Mexico. Not to mention a lot of clouds bring showers and thunderstorm activity to sections of Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, sections of Venezuela, majority of the Windward Islands. And we can see that if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, we can see some light patches of greens that represent one or two isolated showers across sections of the basin. So definitely sections of Guadeloupe, Antigua and Barbuda might have gotten some hit or miss light isolated shower today. St. Kitts, sections of Puerto Rico as usual. And if we take a look at the Barbados radar, we can see that they're still getting in some amount of isolated light rainfall, but majority of the rainfall is right there to the north and to the south of Barbados. So sections of Martinique, maybe St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago still getting in on a lot of rainfall across Trinidad as we speak, and more to come tonight into tomorrow. Taking a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see some amount of rainfall to the north of the ABC Islands, passing them by, associated with those clouds associated with the trough, pushing from east to west. Maybe some isolated sprinkles in some areas of the ABC Island, but we do see a lot of rainfall across sections of Honduras, Guatemala, Belize, and the Yucatan Peninsula. As relates to the temperature forecast, we see that majority of the basin should be getting anywhere from average to at least 4 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures, especially right there near the southeastern Gulf of Mexico, where we see all of that very dark color, so oranges maybe close to reds as well. As it relates to the Sahara and dust forecast,